Anyway, we're pleased to be here, and being at Sundance for me is a thrill. It's when I heard we were in Sundance and knew that this film was going to have such an incredible audience and so many people, I can't tell you how good I felt. And also just being able to get the word out about suicide and mental illness and really bringing it to light and being able to work with this woman and get to know her was just one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
I feel Is it on? I feel the same way. It was such an honor to obviously work with Barbara Kopple, who's such an amazing filmmaker, but also just to be able to, I think that what we really wanted to do with this film is talk about the past and how it's informed, who I am, who my children are, who my sister was, who my current sister is, and to be able to shine light on a family that I think America's interested in, but also more importantly to be able to say that this journey is about looking at the past so that we can change things and change how we live our lives now. And that's at least how I look at it, because I'm such a different person from having gone through my life. As we all are, we all have our journey, but being able to really kind of unwrap the illness, the whatever, and turn it, for me, into wellness. And that's really what my life is about. And I really want to see this film as being a positive that people can take away from it, that there's many options as long as people are talking. As long as people are being aware that it's okay to talk about mental illness in your families, and, because so many people suffer from depression. So many people are just not speaking out about it. And they think there's something wrong with them, and we really need to get it out there that it's okay, that our history is our history. It's no big deal as long as you look at it and make a change for yourself positively by the lifestyle choices that you make. So that's really, I'm excited for it to be like a door opening to a bit bigger and brighter future for everyone. It's not just about me and Barbara. Questions? Yes.
Mariel, I wanted to ask, with it being such a deep personal project, how is it for you now seeing it's out in the public? How does that feel?
Well, last night was the first night that it was ever seen by public. It was all family and friends and blah blah blah. It was powerful because what I loved about it was afterwards, so many people came up with tears in their eyes. Not because of my story, because my story was their story. I can't believe I relate. I had the same family, and I think that we, as human beings, we're all connected, and we all do have similar stuff. And to be able to share that, it's powerful to have it. I really see this as a beginning of a very strong public message, that we're okay and that we're all united, not against something, but for ourselves, and to be honest and to be truthful about our lives. And I think that's probably the biggest.
For you to say that.
For me, it's absolutely. My life is so different. I used to be depressed. I used to. Mommy, daddy, but I'm not that way anymore. Yeah, I know you don't get that. Well, he does say it. I know. It means being needy or being a victim or being, sorry. I feel sorry for myself. I'm so not that person anymore, and I want to share that message with people because I think that everybody has a way out of depression and all this stuff. Everybody has a different mode, but what we want to do is, and that's why Bobby and I brought our poster, The Willing Way, because our poster and our lifestyle company, The Willing Way, is really about the choices that you make in your life in order to find your best self, your best nutritionist, your best guide, your best trainer. It lies within every one of us, that we know what's best for us, but we often have to take a journey to find what is best for us. Brian. Yeah.
It's all good stuff.
So what helped you turn the corner in your own life?
Everything. I mean, I think that, I think in families we play roles, and I say that in the film, that, we look at things and I played the role of the good girl, and I wanted to take care of my mom, and really I was doing it so somebody would pay attention to me. But those choices, thank God I had those models of both my sisters doing drugs and getting in trouble and having a very, very difficult time, watching my family be dysfunctional. I was just the one that said, I don't want to do that. Now, it didn't mean that I always made the best decisions, but I think that journey has really been powerful, but there wasn't one cathartic moment. It's been a lifelong thing. I'm 51 years old and I'm happier than I've ever been, but that's kind of been unveiling in the last 5 years, for me. So I'm thrilled with that, and but it wasn't just one thing.
Congratulations.
Next question?
Well, I can talk if there are no more questions.
I've got a question for Barbara. How did you decide on the style of the film? How did you arrive at how you wanted it to look?
Well, it's so interesting when you make a documentary film because there's no script, at least in mine, and really what you want to do is you want to dig below the surface and really get to the heart of the story. And in a sense, the characters take you on a journey, and you just have to put your shoes on and be fast enough and pleasant enough for them to take you with them. And no, not me. No, never.
Can I come in the bedroom? I want to see this conversation.
And then you have bodyguard. I'm kidding, but it's a phenomenal journey because you also learn so much about yourself. I mean, I've done a lot of films in my career, films on Woody Allen, all these sort of mythical kind of guys, Mike Tyson, the Dixie Chicks, people who just reach the pinnacles of their careers and really watch and want to know Gregory Peck, who they are as people. And for me, being able to do this film on the Hemingway family and really being able to turn things around and let people see things from a whole different perspective was wonderful. Also, finding all this incredible material on Margot, we found a treasure chest. I mean, literally 43 hours of outtakes of a film that she was doing on her family and following the trail of her grandfather. So that added so much texture, and I mean, we were ecstatic to be able to bring that. And it was all the things Mariel would say to me. My mother, she would sit on the sink and she'd put her feet up, and you should have seen her kitchen. And as she's telling the story, we're actually seeing the footage. So it's almost as if going back into time and really feeling who this family is, and seeing Jack going, hunting and fly fishing, and her mother, and she always spoke so highly about her mother, and you actually feel her and see her. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I love this film, and I'm so proud of it.
What was amazing about that footage is that I didn't know she had it. I didn't until she didn't tell me. But when I saw it for the first time, it was so shocking because I thought that I thought my mom putting her feet up on the counter in the sink, during wine time, was all just in my imagination. But to see it, I mean, not in my imagination, but it was like a memory, and I'm like, maybe I got it wrong, but it was there, and it was real, and there they were, and it was wine time, and there was the yellow and robin's egg blue kitchen, and I was like, ooh. never quite understood that. And it was just, I could not believe the footage that she found of my family. It was like sent from God. It was kind of crazy.
And what's really amazing and what makes the world so small is that our sound recordist who came with us to catch him was the cameraman who shot most of this footage. And so he told us about it, and then our producer, Dave Cassidy, went on the hunt to find it, and really it came, and we would all get around the Avid or the computer and just with our mouths open, and I didn't tell Mariel. I wanted it to be a surprise. I wanted her to see that we were really getting into who she is and what she's about and where she came from. And for us also, this is a film about the future because it's for her family, it's for other families, it's so that people can change and really talk about things that for so long they thought were taboo. You know, for a while we didn't talk about rape or HIV or alcohol addiction, and now I think the big thing is mental illness that just has to come out, and we have to back each other up.
What was one of the most memorable experiences? What was one of your favorite scenes that you shot? I know there's so many.
Oh, yeah. I love it when Bobby and I are in the car. And he, by the way, he flooded the car. He says that it was me, but actually, there were just, I don't think there's any perfect moment. Things were hard for me, like some of the interview stuff I found, you know, it would like wrench me in my guts, but the stuff when we were climbing, we were on the road and we had our camera, because we have friends, Mike Call and Boone Speed, who also worked with Barbara on the film, and they were doing stuff for The Willing Way, and we just had a blast, like going out on the road, because that's what Bobby and I like to do, is go out on the road and do road trips and be crazy, and he drives too fast, and I flood the car out, ripped the bottom of it, and those kinds of things were so. It's just nice to. It's like having a home movie. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but it's a big home movie, but it was cool.
And I think for me, my favorite is the intimacy between Langley and Mariel, particularly at the suicide walk, where Mariel, these are people whose loved ones have died by suicide, and they're walking, and it's for all of them to get together, and they do an all-night walk, and Mariel was giving a speech, and you could tell she had 7 beads around her neck, 7 beads around her neck for all the people who had died in her family from suicide. And Langley said, well, so do I get 6? And Mariel said, no, you get 7. And then they walked up to the stage, and Mariel and Langley walked together. Mariel gave the speech, and Langley could feel when her mom was getting very upset, and she just put her hand on the back of her mom, and it was just so beautiful. And after it was over, they hugged each other. They had some very emotional conversations, and that's what this is all about. It's the future. It's about sharing things that have never been spoken before with your children, with the people that you love, so that you can help them. And they can help themselves.
Your whole production crew has that personal story that they also sort of vicariously put out through this film. I was just wondering, how did you assemble the crew and find these people with these interesting stories? Did they find you, or how did that come to be?
Well, I'm one of the most fortunate women. I have a little company that barely keeps its head above water, but we keep going, called Cabin Creek Films. And almost all of the people who work with me and who worked on this film came here just to be with this film and with us. I don't know where Dave Cassidy is, or, you know, any of the other people, our executive producers. They're all here, and they work with me. We work on lots of projects together, and we know each other really well and trust each other really well, and it's I'm so lucky.
I think what's amazing about the crew is that it's indicative of life, because the crew has a story, and it's not like they found Barbara, they were already working together. And I think that that's what this film is going to do when it gets out publicly, is that it's going to open doors, because I mean, the guy from Sundance last night who watched the premiere was like, I've never said this before, but my sister committed suicide in 2004. And, you know, it takes your breath away, but how many people do we know? And how many people are like, wow, it's okay for me to talk about this? And I think that that's like the crew. I mean, all of us have a story. All of us are connected. Or, you know, if it's not our story, we're connected to somebody that's close to us that has one. And it just affects everybody. And that's why we end up, it's like you're sitting next to somebody in a plane and they have this story. You know, they've got this stuff that they're dealing with, because the world is not easy. And it's hard to negotiate. So, yeah.
So we have time for 2 more questions.
Well, I just wanted to say something too about the guy who was our moderator last night, because he sort of whispered to me, and he said, I didn't want to moderate this film. And I said, why? And he said, because my sister committed suicide. And he said, I just thought it would bring too much out. And I said, so do you feel like you want to talk about it? And he looked at me and he said, yeah, I will. And then his voice just totally broke up as he told his story.
I think it's really refreshing to see a female team up here, and the amount of female storytellers this year at Sundance in particular. And I kind of wanted to get both of your perspectives on what's really driving that change, any obstacles you've overcome, and how do you think that we can see more the female perspective of storytelling?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think both of us have thought that we've been telling stories for the last 30-odd years, not to give too much away. And I think we also mentor other filmmakers and other actors and other storytellers, and that it's really important to bring people with you and let them see and let them experience. And I love it because I've worked with so many filmmakers that started as interns and now they're producers, they're directors, and whenever I see their work, I just smile with such pride to think, I knew them, and it forms such a bond and such a friendship over your entire career, and you know that there are people that you can trust, that you can bring them in and show them something or tell them something, and they just always have your back, and you're always there wanting each other to succeed.
I also think when you talk about women in film, I mean, it's wonderful that there are women out there and there's more women's voices, making films. But I think, I won't speak for you, but I think that for us it's not really men or women, but I think it's the opportunity for human beings that you care about and that you love, you encourage them to tell their story. And it's just great that we are in an environment now, or in a century where it's women that are telling their story and feeling empowered. And actually last night I think it was you that said, you're making women feel strong about being able to talk about something that they are afraid to talk about. And some other woman who was married, said it's hard, it's hard. People don't realize, and we feel guilty about talking about it. And that's not necessarily a filmmaker thing, but I think that me personally, I would like to, men and women, we all need to speak up and tell our stories, and women shouldn't feel in the shadows about it. We should be able to say how we feel, and we should be able to express that creatively as well, and on film and in books, and
Well put. Totally agree.
One of the great storylines of the film was seeing the healing within a family that faces the truth, and with you and your daughters. How has that process affected you today? Like, where are you at now with that?
last night was a kind of a culmination of that healing, you know, I mean, which will continue forever. I think you heal all the time. I mean, I don't think the story ends. I think the story continues. But what was really wonderful is I realized I can tell the truth. You know, I kept it from my girls, how our family was, because I was too scared to deal with it myself. I was too scared to tell the truth. And I didn't know I wasn't telling the truth. I just thought I wasn't telling them everything, you know? But I also wasn't dealing with it in me. But it feels so good to know that by telling the truth, you actually enable other people to tell the truth and to heal. And I'm still healing, you know? And when I see it, every time I see it, I'm like, it brings up something, you know, and seeing your mom that you haven't seen in 20-some years. And it's powerful. It's just powerful. And I want everybody to feel the same way, that with truth comes healing.
And I want to say something too. Today is my mom's 91st birthday. So, yeah. Yeah. And I also want all the people from Cabin Creek who are here, who have worked on the film, to please come over here and introduce yourselves. Please. Dave Cassidy, I see you shaking your head. And please ask everybody.
Everybody from Cabin Creek.
That was just full force.
Right, it had all the passion in it, and maybe Langley.
Barbara does this to us at every screening, and we all begrudgingly come down, and then afterwards we go, God, it was so nice of Barbara to call us.
Can you all introduce yourselves if you guys don't mind?
We got a few folks. I'm Dave Cassidy. I was the producer.
Michael Silva, editor.
My name's Maddie Akers, and I did archival research and was an associate producer on the film.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Past. I was associate editor and sound editor.
Folks are enjoying this beautiful house.
Well, there are many more here, so I just wanted you to meet them all because they're all so phenomenal.
And Bobby is here.
Bob.
And I think he's playing golf.
Bobby and Langley.
Langley is
Where is she?
having a coffee.
Okay. All right.
Very happy to have a coffee.
But thank you so much for putting this together for us. And
Thank you, Brad.
thank you all for.
Yeah, we have to thank Bradford. Bradford's a friend for a very long time, and he said, I want to do a party for you. I'm doing it anyway. I'm up there. Please, let me put this together. And you really, you were so great in changing the invitation and doing all this stuff. Thank you so much. This is amazing. We're so grateful.
It's wonderful to have you, and on that note, we have brunch for all of you upstairs. Feel free to wander around the house, and thanks for letting us host you. It's a wonderful story. There's a lot of obviously meaning. It probably touches everyone. So I love you and thank you as always. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.